Hello, my beautiful darlings. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andres, and if you're hooked on books and stitches, then you've come to the right place. Today's video is all about my April reading wrap up. All the books that I read, how I felt about them, my rating, etc., etc. So let's get into it. I'm not going to go in any particular order besides starting with the worst, moving all the way up to the best book that I read in April. So let's get into this because the worst one was kind of sucky. The first book that I'm going to talk about today is If She's Found by Alicia Dakema. This book is following a mom and a dad who is struggling with trying to find their daughter that she has gone missing one day. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, someone came and abducted her directly from her room. The mom and dad are set on trying to find out who did it and how they could get justice on it. But the detective that's on the case has ideas, thoughts, and feelings that it was actually the mom who did everything, abducted her, potentially even killed her, etc., etc. This book was kind of difficult for me to understand and follow through clearly just because for like the first 10% of the book, the mom is saying that it's basically her that did all of this and no one needs to find out and that they need to cover their tracks. She's telling her husband like, "Oh, we need to cover our tracks or whatever." And then after that 10%, we then find out that it wasn't her because she said it and admitted to it that it's not her. Not like to the detective, she just admitted, it was not me. And they start alluding to the fact that it was the husband that it was doing that actually went ahead and abducted the little girl and killed her. But then after another like 10%, the guy says that it's not her and they start confirming that it was not either the mom or the dad. So it was very confusing for the very first 25%. I did not understand what was going on. And then they started alluding to the fact that it was someone else. And it was very troublesome for me to follow because it was too many different ideas and perspectives coming at the same time so rapidly. I just kind of like lost my focus and I was like, okay, so who should I be focusing on? Who should I be suspecting if apparently everyone is going to be a suspect? Which I understand, in a detective sort of scenario, I would expect to just suspect everyone. I was comparing this book to another like thriller and mystery that I've read before in the past where yes, there is plenty of suspects, everyone is suspect within that same crime scene, but there's always some type of main focus person and or persons for us to be focusing on and have our attention on. And then, the plot twist could come around and then let us know that it's someone else. But that's not how this story developed at all. I feel like it was super slow the entire time. Like it was giving us false direction the entire time. Plus, it was so many extra scenes and things that were occurring that didn't have anything to do with the actual main story and didn't add anything to the plot. And then for me, the ending was so convoluted just because there was so many different things that were not even mentioned at all a single time from the beginning all the way to the very ending, like last five chapters of the book. None of that was brought up, and I kind of like was like, what? Who is this person? What is going on? Like, how did this turn out to be this way? And it was just very frustrating for me because like I said, there was really like no clear focus when it comes to the book. And then the plot twist that was supposed to be the plot twist, I guess, it wasn't very like heavy hitting in my opinion. Like there was no shock value to it. I was kind of like, okay. And then with the plot twist, something else happened that kind of ruined it for us to find out the full scope of the plot twist. So I was like, what the? So yeah, overall, this book was a 2.5. I think that was me kind of being a little bit more generous just because, I did finish it and I didn't DNF it. But honestly, it was a tough read. And I was really trying to give the author a chance because she's more of a newer author and I like trying to give the indie authors a chance because you never know. Sometimes you find really good books from indie authors. But unfortunately, I did not like this one too much, so I gave it that 2.5 star. And if more books come out in the future by this author, I'll consider reading it, but am I running to go read them? Maybe not. So, the next three books that I read in the month of April were the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. So, I started with Wild Love, and Wild Eyes, and Wild Side. I was doing this mainly for a reading blog that I have coming up soon. So I won't go too much into my reviews when it comes to this one, because for sure in that reading blog, if you've read the Rose Hill series, that's all the three books that have come out to this point. Make sure to check it out. It's not a spoiler-free review at all. It's gonna have all the spoilers, all the quotes, all the mentioning of every single character, and the twists and the things that happen. I don't care. But this is my channel, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I like to do. So I did read those three books. Surprisingly, I rated all three books the same. They all got a 4 star from me. Very, very solid books. The romance in each one was perfect, in my opinion. I really did like the romance. But another thing that I was not expecting in these books was character development. There was a lot of character development in each book, which was super, super surprising to me because I don't expect that sometimes from a romance book. I kind of think, it's going to be heavily focused on the romance and how they got to know each other and how their relationship grew and what's going to lead to the future and things like that. Elsie Silver really knows how to do character development, in my opinion, because in Wild Eyes, I was literally
Gooped and gagged, bamboozled.
with Skylar's character development. I was in shock, and I loved seeing her grow throughout that book because from the way that it started, like how she started and she came into the town, to the way that she was at the end, and her like good for her moments were chef's kiss, amazing. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to go too much into these books because I really go full in depth in the reading blog. So just stay tuned for that one for more of descriptive, in depth review and my feelings and thoughts about the series. But I truly did like it a lot. I know that I should have maybe read the Chestnut Spring series first because I heard that that one's like top tier, god tier type compared to Rose Hill. But still, I really enjoyed Rose Hill, so I'm certain that I'm gonna love Chestnut Springs when I do read it. Out of the three books, my personal favorite is Wild Love. I know it's the first one or whatever, but it's my favorite just because I feel like I could relate the most to Rosie. The way that she is, what a little brat she is, and the way that her and Ford are together reminds me a lot of David and I as well. So I really have more of a tighter personal connection to Rosie and Ford compared to the other two couples. Skylar and West, I love them. I have no complaints. West is literally daddy. Like, I'm obsessed with him. And then Reese and Tabitha, I struggled a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the first 50%, I was like not into it at all. And it's crazy because I'm like, it's enemies to lovers. I love this shit. Like, it's gonna be great. But I wasn't feeling connected to any of the characters, neither Reese nor Tabitha. So it was very odd. But then after that 50% mark, I was hooked. Like, I did not stop reading the book until I finished it because of how good it got. So it wasn't the best one in the series. I still gave it a 4 stars though, because I really did enjoy it overall. That second 50% of the book really solidified the 4 rating. And then the last book that I read in April is We Shall Be Monsters by Alyssa Weiss.
Or Wes. I'm so sorry, Alyssa.
So this is actually a dual POV book that's following a mom and a daughter, but they're both separate storylines. Mom's storyline, it begins with like present time, but then it goes back into the past and it goes through her life story and how she got to the point that she is now in the present day. And then the daughter's point of view is following present day only and is showing her journey throughout the book and how she is trying to save her mom from the woods, basically. I get fearful that I'm gonna spoil, so I won't talk too much about the actual premise of the book. But I gotta say that the world building in the book for a standalone fantasy book was top tier. Like, I loved the world building. I really felt super immersed. Like, I fell into that world like this, like super fast. I was super into it. And then the prose was so beautiful. Like, it wasn't just like flowery, full of like fluff to like add in things. Like, it was all perfectly aligned with the story. It really gave the setting such a strong feel. Like, you literally felt like you were in those woods and those creatures and all of that were coming out. And I don't know, I loved it so much. It was really, really good. Basically, like the resolution at the end of the story and how everything got resolved. Perfect. No notes. Like, what I found out at the end actually had me shocked. Like, I was like, And like I said, for it to be a standalone fantasy, like there's not a lot of good standalone fantasies out there. I don't know if maybe I haven't read them, and there are some out there. But this standalone fantasy really hit the nail on the coffin for me. I was like, I need to read her other books that they're also standalone fantasy because this is what I'm looking for sometimes. I'm not looking to read a 7, 8, 10, 12 book series at one time, you know. I like to read fantasy a lot, but I would like to just have one book instead of a series of 3 to 5 to 7. So yeah, guys, April was kind of a lighter month because I was really focused on the reading blog of the Rose Hill series. So I'm sorry that I didn't have the strongest month in terms of reading many books, but I feel like 5 books has been my average so far this year. So honestly, I think that's gonna be the standard throughout my wrap ups most of the time. I totally forgot to do stats at the beginning of this video, so we're gonna do stats at the end. I'm sorry. As we know, I read a total of 5 books, and then the average finish time was 7 days. My moods ranged between funny, emotional, mysterious, lighthearted, and dark were like the biggest 5, and then tense, hopeful, and adventurous also. I read between medium to slow pace, which totally makes sense in my opinion because there was at least 2 books out of the 5 that were definitely super slow, which was If She's Found, and I feel like Wild Side was a little slow as well. Page count, you know, the average definitely was between that 3 to 500 mark for sure, and then under 300 was just one of them, which was the If She's Found one as well. And then my overall rating of the month was a 3.63, which is kind of crazy. That 2.5 really definitely gave the overall rating a big hit, but nonetheless, you know, that's the reading month. That's how it goes sometimes. It's not always going to be perfect. So, yeah, guys, that is my April reading wrap up. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And I will see you in the next one. Let's get hooked.